Welcome back everyone, Adriana here. I'm going to be showing you how it is that I make my coloring books. Hopefully I can help you make some of your own. Now the program that I will be using will be Photoshop for this tutorial. However, you can use any program you want to use. The program itself does not matter. What does matter are the steps. Alright, so let's get into it. Step number 1, open up a new project. Just regular 8.5 by 11 canvas. However, you are going to want to turn it sideways. Make it landscape mode. And that's because a coloring book is what? It is a sheet of paper folded in half. So to help me visualize that, I always go and insert in a really long rectangle straight down the center of my project. You don't have to do that, but I highly recommend that you do, just again to help you visualize the left side of your coloring page and the right side of your coloring page, just like that. Step number 2, head over to Google and search for coloring pages or activity sheet printables for whatever theme that you're using. Today I'm going to be working with a Lion King theme, and I'm going to save any coloring pages that not only are free, but are good quality. Make sure that you aren't saving anything that's blurry because that just doesn't look very professional. So I don't recommend using any kind of blurry images. All right, step number 3, you are then going to insert those images that you just saved off of Google into your project. If you're using Word or Publisher, obviously you have to insert images. If you're using Photoshop, you simply open up your images. If you're using a program like Canva, you upload them and have them ready to go, right? So on here, what I'm going to do is just place my image. I'm going to enlarge it and kind of play around with the placement a tiny bit until it gets to be something that I like. Now, anytime that the image itself is a tiny bit boring just by itself, or maybe it's a little small and there's a lot of white space left over like there is here at the top, I like to usually add in some kind of wording. Now, coloring books don't really have to have any objective to them when it comes to the words. You can insert in anything goofy like this, best buds. But a good trick is to, number 1, use a font that matches your theme. Unfortunately, I see a lot of people who use the Arial font throughout their entire coloring book, and I really feel like you're missing an opportunity when you do that, because if you change the font to something that fits your theme, again, you're really taking advantage of that. Also, what I like to do is I don't just leave the lettering black. That's boring. Instead, what I like to do is uh, make it white, and then I add in a stroke, as it's called on Photoshop, or an outline is what it's called on Publisher and Word. And I make that outline black, just like I did here. What that's going to do is give the kids another thing to color in. So again, you're not wasting any space and you're not missing out on any opportunities here. So make it something that fits the whole theme of a coloring book. Now the next step is going to be to insert in something fun, like some kind of activity that the kids can do. Make sure that it's age appropriate, of course. So I found this little maze here. Now, obviously, it does not fit my Lion King theme. So what I'm going to do is just crop out the maze itself. And then what I love about Photoshop is that it has this little tool called an eraser tool. And it lets you erase any part of your image that you don't want or need. Now, obviously with Canva or Word or Publisher, you don't have an eraser tool. So a good hack for you to use is to instead go ahead and insert in a shape that matches the background. So it would be, let's say, like a white square, right? And then you would use that white square and you would place it on top of that little lion and on top of that little apple. And that's it. Of course, if you're using Photoshop, definitely take advantage of that eraser tool. So now that I have a nice little usable maze. I'm going to drag it into my project here. Obviously enlarge it so it takes up most of that page. And then I'm going to center it. Now you can't just insert in a maze and obviously not have any kind of instructions or, anything like that. So what I'm going to do to kind of DIY this little maze to make it match my Lion King theme is I'm going to go ahead and open up a picture of Simba and another coloring page I found of Timon and Pumbaa. And then I'll just drag these guys over here. Of course, shrink it down so they fit. And voila, you see, now it is customized to fit my theme. But again, you have to add instructions, so don't forget to do that. Now, all I did was duplicate my text here because I'm pretty lazy and I usually just like to copy and paste whatever text I have and then edit it from there. So that's what I did there in case you're wondering. So just add in some instructions. As you can see, I'm still using the same theme that I used on that other page. And it's because, again, I just really like that it kind of fits with this jungle theme. So I'm probably going to use it with all the coloring pages that I decide to make. And, just make the words as big or small as they need to be able to properly fit. Again, your main focus with each page needs to be not only does it A, fit your theme, B, they're good quality, but C, don't have any wasted space. See this? I mean, not to toot my own horn, but wow, it looks nice. Now, before you go and print, obviously, get rid of that long rectangle that we placed down the center. And then I'm going to save it as a PNG. But if you're on Word or Publisher, you just then open up a new page, a new project. Insert page, add page. I can't remember what it's called. But then you just keep going, right? So you would then make, 5 or 6 more of those. But what I'm going to do real quick is go ahead and show you how I make the covers of my coloring book. So again, you're going to need an 8.5 by 11 canvas in landscape mode. And for this, you will need some really brightly colored images, right? Now that it's the cover. So I'm going to pull in this image. I'm going to enlarge it. So it kind of looks like this. I'm going to add in some wording. I'm just going to go with happy first birthday. I don't think this will be the very final one that I go with, but it's just the one I'm going to go with for now so you can get the gist. I'm going to add in my long black rectangle here. So again, I can visualize what the front and the back would look like. Obviously, that's not good because it cuts off little baby Simba and he's kind of the whole point. So I'm going to have to edit this picture. I could shrink it down, kind of like this. But then, of course, we got to do something about that whole bottom half, right? So I think what I'm going to do is create kind of like a border here. This is just me winging it, by the way, you guys. It's kind of what you have to do as well. There's no secret recipe to making an excellent coloring book or any design for that matter. You just got to play around with it. And then I know that my customer noted that she wanted definitely for me to use the color green. So I'm going to add in this green rectangle here. All right. So then this would be a good opportunity to enlarge the text and make it a little bit more prominent here on the front of this coloring book, yeah? Now on the back cover of your coloring book is where I normally go and I insert in some kind of thank you message or really whatever message that the customer requested. I also like to include a little barcode and as well as my marketing information like you see here. Before printing, of course, make sure to remove that long rectangle that we added in from before because that would be a little awkward, right? All right, so the next step from there would be then to print all of the sheets that you made. I normally make about 6 different coloring sheets. Now, on Word or Publisher, you just print directly from there. You don't have to open them in your folder the way I did here. But because I saved each sheet as a PNG, I have to print directly from my folder. So I'm going to select all of them and then click print. But before I actually print, I'm going to go into the printer settings. That's going to be the biggest, most important step for you here. Make sure that you have your double-sided settings set. All right, so like I do here. You also want to make sure that it's set to print like a booklet. All right, so that little image that you see here on the left is where it's going to show you visually how it plans to print. So that's exactly what I wanted to print like on both sides, like a booklet. If yours looks different from this, then I would recommend printing and trying to see what it comes out like, okay? Now, unfortunately, I can't tell you exactly what your printer is going to be set like because there's billions of printers out in the world and I don't know the settings for all of them. So unfortunately, you will have to play around with them a bit. Now, I do like to change the color setting to black and white, even though it's obviously already set to that. I just like to be redundant sometimes. So again, black and white, double-sided, booklet type. I'm making sure that it's set to the correct printer. It's set to print by 8.5 by 11, and I'm sending it off to print. Now here I am using my Canon laser printer, my image class. That means that these are not going to be borderless images. That means that they will have a white border around them. I'm okay with that because I'm just making these for the sake of this video. Normally though, I would print on my Canon Pixma and it prints borderless, which means no white border. And I just like it that way. But anyways, as you can see here, my sheets have printed out. It's only 3 sheets that comes out, but because it's double-sided, there are 6 sides. So I always take a look through them, make sure that they printed correctly, which they did. I'm now going to print my cover sheet. Obviously, I have to change the settings back to color. For your cover, I always recommend printing on glossy brochure paper or just anything that's heavier than the sheets that you just finished printing. And that's because it should be sturdy, like an actual coloring book. I also changed my print quality settings to vivid photo. On your printer, maybe it says best or high quality. So be sure to change it to whatever is going to look best. All right. Now, just again, for the sake of this video, I printed onto glossy laser paper, so it's not the same as my brochure paper, but you get the gist. Now, once I have my sheets all ready to go, I like to mess around with the placement, meaning like the order of them, just because I'm anal like that. But of course, you can put yours in whatever order you think would look best. I always make sure that the very, very first page the child or the client sees is one that has a cute little birthday message. So the wording I have on here, it doesn't say happy birthday only because the client requested a specific message. So that's why you see that. And before I go and I fold or staple anything, I make sure that everything looks good. It's all facing the correct direction. Trust me, the second you go and get quick about it or get cocky about it, that's when you mess up. Trust me, it happens to me every single time. Once you've got everything ready to go, just fold it in half. It is that simple. Of course, you got to be a little bit careful about it, but it's as simple as that. Stack them, fold them in half. Again, I go through them to make sure everything came out right. And then I go and I fold the cover sheet. The cover sheet, fold it by itself. Don't go and fold it along with the rest of your stuff, okay? Just trust me on that. Fold that in half. Make sure that the ends match up. Everything's looking good. All right, now here's a little bit of a tricky part. You're going to stick your printable sheets inside, just like that. Kind of tuck them and all that stuff to make sure that nothing is sticking out awkwardly. And then you can use a regular stapler, just like this one. I got it from Dollar Tree. And you can either staple on the outside. I have done that in the past. Or you can do something a little bit more advanced. This stapler here, it is specifically meant for booklets. I'm actually borrowing it, so I don't own this. I don't know how much it cost, but I love it because it's specifically meant for you to go and put in booklets in there and staple your booklets. Now, you don't have to have one of these staplers, by the way, this fancy schmancy little stapler. You don't. You can use a regular sized stapler that you would get from Walmart, and you can actually open it up, and then you can staple onto a hard surface, and you can get the same effect that I just got using this fancy little stapler. But yeah, that's it. Once you staple it, your booklet is all good to go, as you can see here. It's not coming apart or anything like that. You can even see here where these staples are straight in the center. They're nice and tight. I always check that to make sure that they aren't loose. They aren't going to poke any poor little kid in the finger or anything like that. So if you're selling these and they're going to be in the hands of little ones, I definitely recommend you double checking that to make sure that they're safe. All right, so hopefully I helped you guys. If you have any questions or you hate this tutorial, comment down below and I will definitely love to help. Thanks, you guys. Bye.